Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, got to clean the Airbnb, had guest checkout, guests coming in tonight. So thought you guys could come along with me. Now, I'm not really sure how I'm going to find this. Really nice guests, great communication, but they did say our plant in the living room fell over, kind of made a mess, did the best they could to clean it up. So I'm expecting that's going to take me a bit of time. But yeah, why don't you come in and join me and let's see what it's like and then get it cleaned up for the next guest. So this is the plant in question. It's got a bit top heavy and it kind of falls, so I think this is going to have to go today. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to put there instead. I'm thinking a lamp on the table or maybe a standing lamp. I'm going to see, I don't really have time to go to the shop today, so I'm going to have to see if I have something in the house that I can put there as an interim just to make sure it's not such an empty space. But it's a lovely plant, but it's also a pain in the ass. So yeah, they said they tried to clean it up as best they could. The Hoover was getting blocked, so you can just leave it. But yeah, that's going to take a little bit of cleaning up. Otherwise, I mean, they had kids with them. Kids make mess, so there's a little bit of rubbish and things like that. They asked about where to put the towels, so I just said on the floor in the bathroom. So this is all fine. Like, to be honest, this is pretty okay. They've left a food caddy thing, but the bins have been emptied, so that's all okay. They've left some, what is that? Left some orange squash. Probably use that, to be honest. And then they left the supplies we leave, which is fine. Not everyone needs them, but we always leave them for all our guests. So this is bedroom 1. This is fine, don't see any issues. And then this is bedroom 2. So yeah, again, all okay. So all in all, it's not that bad, but I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do about that plant. So you guys can come along with that while I get rid of it and then figure out what I'm going to put in place, show you what it looks like afterwards. But otherwise, while I'm cleaning, I thought I might talk through some guest stories we've had in the past. These guests were fine, to be honest. I did think it might be worse than it is, but it's actually not that bad. It's just used and lived in when you have 2 kids, and they had a greyhound dog as well. But I mean, it doesn't smell of dog. It's not messy. So really it's not that bad. So I thought while I'm doing the cleaning today, maybe I'll talk through some past stories that I've had of guests that have left it absolutely awful, just to give a comparison. So stick around to hear those stories because I have some great ones to tell you about. Right, let's get this bedroom done. So story number 1. I think I'll probably start with probably my biggest thing I've found here, biggest story, biggest viral video that I've had online of something that happened here. So this was February last year. It was the day after Valentine's Day, so you can probably get an idea of where this story is going. So yeah, we had guests, I think, yeah, they were booking.com. That was it, it was booking.com. Didn't really hear anything from them, thankfully, if you know what I mean, from what I'm about to tell you. But yeah, so walked in to this room. There was like petals, like heart-shaped petals everywhere. And I mean everywhere, it was like blanketed. There was like chocolates, like little candles that they clearly burnt. There was other stuff that I found that I don't really want to mention. It was just a mess. And then there was like other parts of the place. There was other things like just clearly they'd had a romantic getaway, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and I think they'd even asked to have a later checkout, so they didn't even bother to like clean up, even though they stayed later. They just left it everywhere. And I think they even arrived like really, really late. I think it was about like 3 a.m. So it was obviously like a booty call or a dirty weekend with a fair, or, you know, something like that. So yeah, it was something else. So I blocked them. But I think one of the biggest things about it all was that they'd obviously smoked in here. And that was why I banned them. It wasn't just the mess. Like, I would have banned them for the mess, even though people online were like, it's not that bad, it's just a bit of clearing up. I was like, it's about the lack of respect some people have for your property. I would never do that if I stayed in a hotel or anywhere. So why should you do it in someone's own property that they run themselves? Like, it's just, I don't get it. But yeah, so they've clearly been smoking here. I don't know if they've been smoking inside, just like, or they'd opened the windows and thought they could get away with leaning out of the windows and having a fag. Like, I love it when people do that, because they think, oh, that's all right, I'll just lean out the window and do it. No. So I had to put up signs that say no smoking or vaping. People still do it, and as soon as they do, because you can smell it straight away, it's a straight ban. They're out. They're never coming again. We get guests that smoke, but they go out onto the patio decking area and they smoke there. That's not a problem. I say in our guidebook, you can smoke, just please do it on the patio. And that is not a problem. And you will get some residual smoke from people who do that, but you can tell the difference between that, someone who's just a regular smoker, and someone who has clearly just leaned out a window. But anyway, these guests got a complete flat ban, never could stay in here again. That video, one of the other platforms, had like 3.4 million views now or something. And the comments were mostly okay, but there were a few that said, what do you expect? You're an Airbnb owner. We can do what we want. We pay a cleaning fee. We can leave it however we want. To people who say that, the cleaning fee is £35. Like, that would have taken me 4 hours to clear. That's not 4 hours worth of work for the money. But anyway, so that's story number one. I'll get this room ready and then we'll crack on to the next room, and then I'll tell you our next story. On to the second room and the second story. So this was actually a fairly recent one. Only happened a few weeks ago. So guests that were last minute on booking.com, you can see that most of these stories relate to booking.com guests because they don't get vetted on that channel, and they tend to, majority are really good, but sometimes you just get these bad eggs. So yeah, they arrived, they were fine, they seemed fine, and then at about, I think it was about 1 a.m, we heard this like loud banging, screaming, shouting, like really big commotion. It was really scary, to be honest, and I should have just rung the police and got rid of them, got them out. But I think part of that is you don't want to get a bad review. It sounds bad, like when you don't feel safe in your own house, but then you're thinking as an Airbnb owner, well, I don't want to then get a bad review because they'll leave me a bad review because I called the police on them. Anyway, so my husband came downstairs and banged on the door in between and told them to be quiet. They were then like, oh, sorry, mate, and really quiet, and then we didn't hear really anything from them. They messaged me before they were meant to leave, saying could they just have half an hour longer. Their clothes were still wet. Warning flag should have gone off then. So yeah, I was just like, fine, just whatever. At this point, I'd already banned them just because of their behaviour at night. Now, another thing I should have noticed was it smelled an awful lot like they'd been smoking something they shouldn't have been. So that should have, this is a type of smell, you can smell it. And I should have clocked what it was, but for some reason I thought it might be something else. And at that point I should have just come over and knocked and been like, can you please leave this property or we'll call the police on you, and they'll find you with substances you shouldn't have. There's lots of things I should have done. But anyway, the next day my husband was doing the clean rather than me. He came in and he said it was awful. There was blood on pillows. There was just like Chinese food everywhere, like this all over the place. Dirty plates. I mean, people leave dirty stuff, but that's just the way it is. There was like a candle that had clearly been burnt in the bedroom. The whole place just stank of smoke. Not cigarette, the other kind. It literally reeked. I had to close the place for 2-3 days to try and get the smell out. It was really difficult to get the smell out. I feel like I could still smell it now, but I think that's just my head. We hadn't had any complaints from any other guests, luckily, since then. But yeah, had to close it for 2 days. In hindsight, when it happened, I should have blocked them on Airbnb, Booking.com, and then asked for damages. They didn't damage anything, but I did have to close for 2 days, which was a loss of like several £100. So in hindsight, I should have done that. Once the complaint was made and I didn't do that, you can't like go back. So in hindsight, I should have done that. But it was just disgusting, and I felt very unsafe with them here. And they are probably actually the worst guests we've had. We have had people like leave gross things, but to hear people screaming and shouting like that and thinking that, well, they could trash the place quite easily. So they got blocked. Hopefully they won't make a new account and stay again. But yeah, they were probably the worst we've ever had here. So those are probably the two sort of main stories of like really not great guests. Most guests, like I've said, leave the place really neat, really tidy. Some guests, especially in the winter months when we have builders here, they tend to just leave like mud everywhere. So that's like one of the things we find quite often. But otherwise, like these guests, general like wear and tear, they obviously had the issue with the plant. There was like poo all over the toilet, which was a bit, I just wouldn't leave it like that. There is a toilet brush, just use it. So yeah, sometimes that can be a bit gross to find, but all in all, we haven't had any like major damages, things like that have occurred. But we have had, like I say, like guests that smoke and do really gross things. But this plant, I think he's gonna have to go outside. He is very falling over. So I'm thinking a lamp in the corner. I have one in the house that kind of curls up and over. It looks really nice. So I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that lamp there. I think that will look nice. There's some really nice tables here that I'll probably just put in our house. I think they'll be quite nice there. But yeah, this plant. Sorry, mate. You gotta go because you lean and you make a mess. After 4 hours, we're finally done. So the plant has gone, and this is the lamp I've put in for the meantime. I am gonna then get a picture to go on that wall. So obviously it looks a bit bare. I don't like it, but I don't have something to go there yet. But I think once that's there, the space will look really nice. I imagine in the evening with that one lamp, it would look really nice in here. Otherwise, most of it was easy enough, clean, just lots of fiddly stuff I needed to fix today. So this is all clear, clean even. That's the first bedroom. And then that's the second bedroom. These are guests that have stayed with us before and left a really nice review. So I've left them a little gift to say thank you for booking with us again. I do that for all the guests that are sort of booked again with us, just as a nice way to say thank you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed some of the sort of guest stories that I shared today. I did actually have another one from Christmas where there was a family that just left it in an absolute mess. They were coming in at night at like 2 a.m. and disturbing everybody, disturbing the house. and then they were more people here than they said, which is a fire risk and an insurance risk. We have to know how many people are here. So yeah, that was another story we had, but maybe that's for another time with more detail. But I hope you enjoy this video, a bit more behind the scenes of what goes on. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content, and I will see you in the next one.